This is your Weather Xtreme video for Christmas Eve, December the 24th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. And from all of us at the Alabama Weather Blog, we're wishing you a Merry Christmas, but keep the severe weather threat in mind. There's a look at radar early this morning, and the rain should be ending by late morning across much of central Alabama. We're still dealing with a surface system that is moving up into the Ohio River Valley, and that will drag the front down across our area today. In the upper atmosphere, of course, the first little storm system is being helped along with a shortwave trough in the upper atmosphere, but the second one will be coming in fairly quickly, right on the heels of this one, bringing us some severe weather for Christmas Day and into a little bit of the day after Christmas. Temperatures this morning have become very mild once again, with temperature readings very close to where we typically are for high temperatures for this time of year, with a good southerly flow across the area. There's a look at the composite radar over the southeastern U.S., and as I say, the showers and thunderstorms should be ending. Now, there's a bunch of winter weather advisories out, stretching all the way from the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles across much of Oklahoma, a good portion of Arkansas, and then up into parts of Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana and Ohio. And that is all in conjunction with the storm system that's likely to give us our severe weather threat. QPF-wise, counting what we've had this morning, which is around 1/4 inch in many locations, we're going to get probably on the order of about 2 inches of rain over much of the area. Storm Prediction Center is outlooking a slight risk primarily over East Texas for today, with a little bit of possibility, especially along over southwest Alabama and along the Gulf Coast of Alabama and northwest Florida and Mississippi. But for day two, the slight risk area continues to encompass just about all of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, a good portion of Georgia, northwest Florida, and a chunk of southeast Texas. In addition to that, parts of southwest Alabama, parts of south Mississippi, and a section of central Louisiana have all been included in a moderate risk for severe storms. Now let's get to the 06Z GFS model run this morning. Here is the surface map for today, and as I say, the showers and a few thunderstorms should be ending by late this morning over the area, so I suspect a dry Christmas Eve afternoon with maybe even a few peaks at the sun this afternoon. We've got plenty of clouds. Here comes on the 25th, here comes that strong shortwave coming out of the Rockies, and that will be responsible for a surface low in the vicinity of southeast Texas. And the GFS and the European in good agreement over the position and in the strength of the system. So confidence is fairly high that this is what is going to be happening. Now let's take some intermediate times. We'll look at the maps first and then look at the parameters. By midnight on Christmas night, the surface low, according to the GFS, ends up in the vicinity of about Tupelo or so. And we look at the European at the same time, and it's pretty much in the same locale where Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi all meet, or in the vicinity of Tupelo, Muscle Shoals. So a good agreement. Now by 18Z on the 26th, the strong trough has moved by. The axis of the trough has moved by, so the surface low is now up into Kentucky. And we're getting a little bit of wraparound precipitation as a possibility, and maybe it will be a rain-snow mix, and probably a greater chance that we'll see a little bit of snow, light snow flurries up in the Tennessee River Valley. And once again, the European and the GFS in good agreement. All right, now let's take a look at a few of the parameters, and we're still looking at CAPE values that are sufficient for severe weather. Highest CAPEs, as we've seen over the last couple of weather systems, stay in the Gulf, but we still have CAPE values that are getting up there. So we're looking at values on the order of 250 to 500. Surface dew points, by all means, get up into the at least into the low, or around 60 degrees. So we certainly have a lot of good low-level moisture to deal with. In addition to that, we have pretty high shear. Looking at the bulk shear from surface to 700 millibars, and we're looking at values that need to be 40 and above, and certainly we have that in place. So the bottom line is we certainly have all of the conditions that appear necessary for us to have a round of severe weather, and it could be a reasonably significant round of severe weather. Now let's look at the possibility of snow flurries or the rain mixing with light snow before ending. And there is a look at the 850 temperatures for 18Z on Wednesday, and you can see that the 0 degree value, essentially the blues, where the blue and green, where the green changes to blue or the blue changes to green, and you see that it gets down into the Birmingham area. So indeed, I think across the Tennessee River Valley and parts of the area of central Alabama north of Birmingham certainly see some risk. And if we look at precipitable water, we still have a little bit. Now, this is not great value. These are values between about 0.4 and a half inch. So it's not a lot of moisture, but it is some. And so we may certainly see that sort of thing come about. Now, moving on with the GFS, the surface low goes up into the mid-Atlantic states, and we dry out on Thursday, the 27th. By the 28th, we're still dry, although moisture beginning to return into Texas ahead of the next storm system that will give us some rain probably on Saturday. We see that upper-level trough coming out of the Central Plains states on Saturday. So once again, we see another round of rain and precipitation. This one has an interesting look to it, and at this moment does not look like cold air will be in place. But of course, the surface low riding along the Gulf Coast, that's one of the positions you like to see for a winter weather event for us. But it does look like, with the upper air pattern and everything, we'll get back into the 50s for temperatures. So certainly does not look like that would be a winter weather threat. That trough heads on out Sunday the 30th, and let's just go out a little bit further. This is New Year's Eve on Monday. We're under kind of a northwesterly, a west to northwest flow, so it's not a cold flow, not a warm flow, kind of an in-between flow. And then taking New Year's Day, and I know we're into voodoo country, we do have a fairly significant trough that's passing well to our north over the mid-Atlantic states, but it could have enough of an influence. The question is going to be of whether or not there's any moisture available, and probably just clouds would be all that we would see. All right, now way out into voodoo country, let's see what we can expect. And there's another system around the 4th, another short wave moving through the flow. And then on the 8th, we get into a more zonal flow, which doesn't really have either a cold or a warm look to it. It's kind of just neutral. Well, thanks for tuning into the Weather Extreme video. There will be additional posts on the blog as this whole severe weather scenario unfolds. And barring any unforeseen complications, I expect to have the next Weather Extreme video posted first thing on Christmas morning. I hope that you have a wonderful Christmas Eve. Be sure to keep a method available for getting weather warnings for Christmas Day. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Merry Christmas Eve and Godspeed.
Thank you for trusting us to be your #1 source for news
in all of Central Alabama.
In back-to-back ratings periods,
more people watched ABC 3340
than any other station in Birmingham.